Today we're going to be replacing the fuel pump on a 2008 Jeep Liberty, which is the same as the Dodge Nitros, the 2007 to 2014s. So to drop the tank, we've got a couple gas lines here, and these are squeeze connectors. Then you want to pull these two lines off on the front side of your tank. This first one we removed was pressurized, so there's gas, you see gas dripping. And the little button on top just presses down and out they slide. So all of the fittings around the tank are like that. So we're going to go in from the rear view. I'm going to squeeze the camera up inside here so you can see on top of the tank. And on the very peak top rear of the tank, there's 3 evap lines and also the fill tube connection for filling the tank. All right, you can see we got our little push clips off, and then we loosened our fill tank, and that hose clamp was a 7mm. And then there was one other larger clip which goes back to the evap canister, and then we're going to get ready to drop the tank now. So we have 15mm bolts up inside. So we're gonna remove those and ease the tank down. We have it up on a lift because this is pretty hard to do if you're on the ground. Now this bracket on the side of the tank we got to remove to drop it down so we can move it away from the drive shaft. So there's just 2 bolts holding that on. Alright, so on the side here we had wire harness with one of those push-in connectors you had to pop out of the tank support. Alright, so on top of the tank, the fuel pump, there's a red clip which slides to the side, and then press the tab to remove the electrical connector like that. And there we go. Now our tank is free. Alright, so this is just showing what the top of the tank looks like. Here's where our feeder goes in, some of the lines, and then this piece. If you have anything broken on here, this comes with the tank. You cannot buy it separate. So if you look on top of my tank at the ring that holds the fuel pump into place, you can see that ring's extremely rusted, and even the tabs that hold it in place, a couple of them rusted so bad they're missing. This could be the source of where my leak was coming from, and now I'm ordered a replacement pump, and I had to buy a new tank because those tabs are part of the tank itself. Okay, so here's the here's my replacement tank. It's used, but you can see these tabs are all in place. Pretty good, nice and solid. So this ring, to remove it, you have these little tabs here, and you can take a screwdriver. You want to hit it in the counterclockwise direction, and you want to work your way around. Just hit a little bit on each one of these little slots, and then it'll pop it free. Also, before you do all that, you want to take an air hose and just blow this out. Get all the crud out of there because you don't want anything falling in your tank. Now my tank's empty, and I want to show you one thing in the end. Sure if you can see in there, but there's actually a little flap that prevents spill should the vehicle flip. So I took this, just made a little piece of wire that goes in, and I don't have a sharp end because I don't want to hurt the rubber seal. And just to push, you'll hear it go in. Hear that? So it's in the up position, and then just lightly wrap it here to hold it into place, and then you'll be able to tilt your tank and dump any fuel out of it if you're doing an exchange. All right, so now I'm going to show you just tapping it off. I've got my connections off. There we go. Mine popped loose pretty good. So we'll move the ring. Okay, there we go. So off comes the ring. You can see there's index and there's a little bump, and those bumps go underneath. Each one of the tabs locks into place. Now typically when you pull yours out, my tank's empty, but your pump will have, get out of here, will be filled with fuel in here. I believe it uses it to keep the pump cool. And there we go. So here's our ring. You want to make sure the seat around the ring is all cleaned. And this ring feels a little compressed, so I'm going to replace it anyway. So I've got a new ring with my new pump. And a new pump. One thing you want to, when you get your new pump, is to put this float on. This is your level detection. It just slips in, and there's a little clip in here, and you press it into place till you hear that snap, and then pull off the bag on the end. So I want to show you good tabs. You can see all these are in place. They're all nice. And then I'm just going to wipe out a little bit inside my tank in case there was any crud. Okay, so I cleaned off all around the ring where the ring seats. I'll put my new gasket in there, my new sealer. You just want to make sure this stays in place when you put it in. And there is an indexing tab on your pump. So put your float in first. And when it sits down, it's spring loaded. So you want to get your ring into place ahead of time. And then press it down into the seat, making sure your gasket is fine. And then put the ring back on clockwise. Again, working around. Okay, now you can see mine's properly seated. I've got that hump located in between the two ridges on each point. And then I'll reconnect my hoses and put the tank back up into place the way it came out. So I hope this helps you.